it's a red flag when people say, we are like a family. And there's a lot of talk going on the internet these days that's a red flag. You can't. Office work is work, family is family. So how do you see that?
I don't see it as a red flag. I've read the same articles. It's quite topical at the moment because they say it's a red flag in an interview, in a job interview. If you're being interviewed for a job and the interviewer says, we're like a family here, everything I've been reading lately is, that's a red flag because we're clearly not a family. But there's nothing wrong with the comparison. I think sometimes, and I think it's indicative of a certain level of wokeness, that people are getting hung up on words. Now, I wouldn't consider, in the businesses I've run and most of the business I've been in, I don't consider them to be a family in the same sense as my wife, my partner and my kids. That's a family. But the family dynamics, the group dynamics, gosh, I wouldn't get caught up in the words. So the first thing is, I wouldn't use it too liberally that we're a family. We're kind of like a family, but I would qualify that. We're like a family because we care about each other. We get together, but this is a business. The other point that you were making of mixing family and personal life with business is quite different. It's a different question. And that is very situational. I think it comes down to the individuals. I've seen some very successful personal relationships in business. But as a rule of thumb, I think that leaders in business need to remember that they are in business in a professional sense. So there are some boundaries and there is a limit, that it is difficult. I think that the military is an extreme example. But if you watch any military movie and you'll watch a drill sergeant or you'll watch a commander, the common message in there is don't get too close to these people because you have to be willing to risk their lives. So the level of familiarity is something that we need to be very aware of. But gosh, people want to deal with and work for and with people they like. So being natural is a part of that. So likability is pretty important, I find, in business. So yes, I think just being careful of the semantics and not being too sensitive to it.